Hey everyone, and welcome to Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Today we're going to be doing another crochet kit that I got from Five Below. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are doing the Grinch. This is a viewer request. And today we're doing Max. If you saw the last video, we did do the Grinch already. That worked very well. I think the instructions just keep getting better. This is again from Innovative Designs. Their information is here if you ever need to contact them or anything. But this is what the kit has. A couple of spools of yarn, or a few spools of yarn, stuffing, a crochet needle, some safety eyes, and a plastic sewing needle. So what they don't have in this kit is the stitch markers, and I highly recommend that you get those. I'll whip those out when I need them. But let's get right into this. So this video is just a supplement to the instructions. If you would like to complete this kit yourself, I highly recommend that you go either online or to a Five Below store and get these. If they are missing instructions, because I've had some comments recently, didn't know that was a thing, but you can always contact the company and explain to them your issue, because I can't do anything about that. I can't share the instructions or anything due to copyright, so you're better off just contacting the company and letting them know that they messed up your kit, because the instructions are getting better, but I did run out of material on some of the wickeds, so they still are kind of a little bit more than subpar. I mean, I like the kits that have good instructions and enough materials. That's all we can ask for the money that we pay for. Anyway, let's open this kit. We've got the all the accessories in here, and I guess all the other little pieces of yarn or embroidery floss if they have. This one doesn't do the detail work. Here's the pouch of stuffing. It is kind of, jam-packed in there, so once you cut it, it's going to expand. Be careful. Here is that spool of yarn. Well, I guess this is the tidbit of the other two colors. They made it seem like you were getting... This is a little false advertisement here. And then here we have two packets. One is the abbreviations, the other is the instructions. Okay, if you need to speed up or slow down the video, go ahead and click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear me speak, you could lower the volume on your device and then click on the CC closed caption button. So, like I said, one packet is the abbreviations, and there's a brief description of how to do those stitches. In my video, I am just going to teach you how to do new stitches at least 3 times step by step, and then you can do the rest on your own. I'm also going to explain how to read the instructions so you know what all those characters, numbers, and letters mean. So I don't think that these kits are ever for a beginner. I actually learned how to knit through a beginner booklet, and it went really basic step by step. My aunt taught me how to crochet, so it's different, I guess. So I don't know what a beginner crochet booklet looks like or what's in it, but I'll tell you this, these instructions are not that. Not by any means, because knowing what I know, if I didn't know anything like most of you out there, I wouldn't know, like, what the heck am I doing? So anyways, let's put this stuff back into the box after I get out this crochet hook. You don't want to lose any of them or get them dirty, so I'm going to put them back in the box. Alright, and we're going to get straight into this. Now, we would just get wads of yarn like this. There's no really helping that. You could unravel the whole thing and roll it up into a ball. If you have one of those spool machines, you can use that, and it'll help you get your yarn situated nicely to where it's easy to pull. this is not the case. We're going to just end up having to have tangles here and there, but I try to like open the center and get the other end at the center, and that might be difficult. Like I'm only seeing this end, and I don't, I'd really have to dig to see the other, but I'd prefer pulling the yarn out from the inside because it won't roll around. It's just going to keep coming out of the center. If you pull from the outside, there's a tendency, it's like tendency to pull and turn. So if you can find that center, that would be great. I might spend the actual time though and pause this to find that center. So be right back. All right, so that was a little rough, but I found the other end. I'm gonna slip this little cylinder piece here to kind of anchor it off to the side. And we're gonna start with this. So we're working with the brown, and we're going to chain 2. So let me just show you how to cast on with a slip knot. So what you want to do is take your ring, pinky, and thumb and hold one end. Then we're going to take the index and middle finger and hold apart the yarn this way. Then we're going to take our hook and lie it perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to create this loop around the crochet hook, and we're going to just slide it down towards our thumb. Then we're going to take our middle finger here and we're going to hold it right where it crosses so that we can let go of the left hand. Then we're going to gather up the yarn, feeder yarn around our finger, and then we're going to re-pinch the end down here. Oop, and it's fraying. Re-pinch the end down here and then bring your crochet hook, slide it down farther close to your thumb. Where it crosses, just pinch it with your middle finger, and then we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull this strand through the loop like that. And then we're going to overhand our hook, re-pinch the end piece here, and we're going to push this knot towards the thumb, tightening that knot. So you want to push that until the knot is tight enough and you can no longer push down on that. And then from here you can take your middle and thumb on the left hand and pull out that little excess piece. Oh, it's fraying some more, to make sure that that knot is snug. Then we're going to take the knot and slide it up towards the hook. Like that. You want to leave some room here. All right. So we are going to do next one of the basic stitches of crocheting. Okay. So that is called a chain stitch. So let me teach you how to do a chain stitch. So you're going to hold down on the knot with your middle finger and thumb right here. Then we're going to yarn over, which is putting the feeder yarn over the hook. And then we're going to pull this strand through the loop. And that is a chain stitch. So let me show you what a chain stitch looks like. It looks like a little thing here. We've got a loop on this side, a loop on the other side. If you turn it on its back, there's a loop back here, and I call that the hump. So each chain stitch has 3 loops in it. Let's do another chain stitch. So again, you want to yarn over, and we're going to pull this strand through the loop. And so now we have 2 chains. And now it's starting to look like a braid. We have a loop on this side, a loop on that side. You turn it on its back, and we have these little humps, these back loops here. Okay, so 3 loops per chain stitch. All right, from here, we're going to do a bunch of single crochet stitches. Let me teach you how to do a single crochet stitch. Now, when you come off chains like this, you always want to start the second chain from the hook, because this first chain here will be the height of the single crochet stitch. Then this next stitch here is going to be where you put your hook in to start your single crochet stitches. Now, I just do this all the time regardless, But normally you would put your hook into these like loops here. So if you look at the braid like this, normally you would just put it in this loop here for all chain stitches. Now that's like kind of the universal thing to do. Regardless of what is going to show at the end of this project, I always like to stick them in the back humps because I like to preserve these braids as much as I can, again, whether or not you see them, just so that it's like more of a habit and like an auto habit than having to think about it, because there are some projects where there's so many chains and you leave it exposed that if you use the back hump, it still looks nice and it looks like a braid. If you do it universally, where they put it on the top loop like this, then you're just gonna have like a row of loops on the bottom and that's it, which is fine too, but I like to keep that braid because it doesn't look pretty. Anyway, so second chain from hook, we're gonna skip this chain, we're gonna work in this one. You want to put your hook, I'm gonna put my hook in that back hump right here. So it's in the back hump. If I flip it upside down, it's right underneath that braid right there. So as I said, there's 3 loops that make the chain stitch. If you put it through the one loop, you're going to have the other 2 just chilling on the other side. So the 2 loops here are the braid and it looks pretty nice. So let's finish the single crochet stitch. So once you put your hook into the next stitch here, we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull up a loop so that we have 2 loops on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over again and we're going to pull through those 2 loops. And that is a single crochet stitch. Here it looks like at front view. Here's what it looks like at top view. And there's that braid again. You got a loop on this side, loop on this side. All right, so let's do this again. Stick your hook into that same stitch, okay? Right here. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull this through the loop. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 2 single crochet stitches. This is what it looks like looking in the front. 2 stitches coming out of that one hole there. This is what it looks like top view. You have a braid, you have a braid. All right. So let's do this one more time with you guys. Stick your hook into that same stitch. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 3 single crochet stitches. We look at top view, we have our nice braid coming down here. So now you guys, I'm going to do the rest of the single crochet stitches required in the instructions. And then we're going to see what the next instructions tell us to do. So you can rewind this part as many times as you need until you're comfortable doing single crochet stitches on your own. All right. All right, so after I finished that, again, I like to use these stitch markers. They're good at helping you keep track of stitches and rounds. So what I do is I take the stitch marker and I place it right under the braid of the last stitch we made. And you want to make sure that you don't pierce the yarn. You can like pull this to see if it's nice and clear. And then you just close the marker and you can move on to the next round. So I've collected these over the many kits that I've done that have them, but you can purchase these too. You can buy them in packs at a hobby store or online, and the more the merrier, so definitely go and get yourself some stitch markers. Alright, so now we're going to do the first round and we're introducing the increasing stitch. So let me show you what an increasing stitch is. So basically what it is doubling up on a stitch. So when we put our hook into a stitch, we're not going to do just one stitch, we're going to do 2, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you want to do, because the first row is always a little hard to see the next stitch because everything's bunched together, we're going to count off the number of stitches required from the previous instruction, and then we're going to stick our hook into the last stitch. So right, put your hook into that last stitch. I've counted from the hook, so you want to count from the hook counterclockwise. Stick your hook into the last stitch, so we have this. Now we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in this stitch, and that's going to make an increasing stitch. So let's do 1 single crochet stitch. Put your hook back into that same stitch, and we're going to do the second one. So if you look closely, we have that 1 stitch, and out comes 2 single crochet stitches. Look at it on top, you have that braid again. Alright, so let's do this again. Into the next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches in this stitch. 1 and 2. Okay, so in this next stitch, we have 2 single crochet stitches coming out of it. All right, one more time with you guys. Stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. Here's 1. Stick your hook into that same stitch and do another one. So we doubled up our stitches. Here's that stitch there, and out comes 2 single crochet stitches. All right, so I'm going to do this the rest of the way. So this part you can rewind as many times as you need until you're confident enough to do the increasing stitches by yourself. And so now let me explain to you guys what the parentheses with the number inside means. So at the end of each instructions there's a parenthesis, and that's pretty much telling you how many stitches you should have at the end of each round. As a beginner, it's very good to count every stitch that you made before moving on to the next round, just to make sure that you are in count with the instructions, because it's easier to catch a mistake when it happens than catch it later on down the road. It's going to be a lot to undo at that point, so you want to catch them right away. So now that I finished this round, before I replace my stitch marker, I'm just going to go around this project and count the stitches starting from the hook all the way around. Oop. All right, so once we've counted that, we can remove this marker and replace it at the last stitch we made. Again, right under that braid there, make sure you're not piercing the yarn. Close it up, and then we're going to move on to round 2. So this is introducing a bracket situation. All right. Well, the previous one did, but now we've got different instructions for the second round. So in the brackets, that means we're going to be completing that set of instructions first. In this case, we're alternating single crochet stitches with increasing stitches. So then there's a number with an X, and that's in the previous round as well, but now we can talk about it. So what we're doing is repeating whatever's inside those brackets by the number of times that the instructions say. And then of course I already told you that the number in the parentheses are the number of stitches that you're going to need at the end of each round. So let's start with this bracket. Stick your hook into the next stitch, and you're going to do your single crochet stitches. And then we're going to do our increasing stitches, which is again doing 2 single crochet stitches in each stitch. And then all we have to do is repeat that bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and alternate the single crochet stitches with increasing stitches, and then we'll move on to the next round. And I love this plush yarn for these, but at the same time it's really hard to see your stitches, so be extra careful of where you're putting your hook. You want to put it in the right spot and not accidentally skip a row or double up on, skip a stitch or double up on a stitch. Alright, so now that I went all the way around, I'm going to replace this marker. Do your count. And I think I'm actually good to go on this. Alright, let's just count anyway. Alright, so this is going to indicate that we are in round 3. Now we have to do till round 6, so like I said, with these markers they can help you keep track. So I'm going to pull out, this is 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now I know that I can do the same stitch, which are single crochet stitches. I can do this as many times as I can using up these stitch markers. When I finish this round, I'm going to leave this one on and just place a new one. And once I use all this up, I know that I can move on to the next round, which is round 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all this in silence. so I completed all those rounds. Now your project probably looks something like this. It's curling in. And if you look closely, it's really hard to see defined stitches because this is the wrong side. What you want to do is flip this inside out, and I'm going to show you the difference in look. So remember what this looks like. I'm going to flip this inside out, and now you're going to take a look at the outside, and you see how there's like these little popcorn pieces. These are the stitches that you can now see individually. So that's the difference between the right side and the wrong side. Now, I don't know if this sounds weird, but with the color yarn, this looks like a chicken nugget. Anyway, let's move on. All right, so for round 7, we have a bit of difference in our instructions now. We have a combination between regular instructions and then instructions inside brackets. Doing the number of times you're supposed to be, so it's, you know, a little overwhelming. So what I like to do for instructions like this is just to break it down. You only want to focus on what's inside the comma. So we'll do that. Like, you always want to break it down somehow so you're not overwhelmed with all the rest. So the first comma section just wants you to do single crochet stitches. So that's simple enough. We can go ahead and do our single crochet stitches. All right, so now the next section has the brackets with the number of times we're supposed to repeat it. So let's focus on doing that one. Oh, which is pretty much increasing stitches. All right, so after we've completed that, the next section is single crochet stitches. So that's pretty simple enough. So let's do that. All right, so now we're just going to take my marker and replace it under the last stitch we made, and then we're going to do the next round. So the next round is fairly simple. All we're doing are single crochet stitches. So I'm just going to gather up some yarn here so I don't have to keep grabbing, and like I said, there's always going to be pulling with this kind of a spool. Unless you situate it yourself, this is what we're gonna get. So you're just gonna have to deal with it. I don't want to, like, it just takes too much time to unravel all of it and fix it. So I just deal with it how it is. So we're nothing fancy over here, okay? We're pretty much, you know, buying a $5 kit and keeping it that way, with the exception of the stitch markers. All right, so let's do round 8. So far so good. Again, I really hope all these instructions are similar to the Grinch ones because they were pretty good. And then I was able to fit everything in one video, so it'd be really nice if I can do that. Just because one, I don't want to spend, I've got a long list, requests list for you guys, and I'm still taking requests. By the way, if you don't want to wait for me to find the kit, I'll let you know if I have it, if I don't have it. But if you don't want to wait for me to find the kit, you can always send me a clear image of the instructions and I'll try to help you out. Yeah, otherwise I do have a running list of kits of requests that I do have. So after this, I'm going to throw in an itty bitty knit kit from Five Below, and then we're going to continue with a series of Nightmare Before Christmas. Last year, I did a booklet, a Disney booklet for Nightmare Before Christmas, and I only have 2 characters left to do on that. And then also there are 2 crochet kits from Five Below that are also Nightmare Before Christmas, so got to fit that in. Oh yeah, and then I have a stitch, a Santa stitch, so I got to do that one too. So again, a lot of kits going on that I have to get done before Christmas. I'm working my butt off real bad because I also have presents to make as well, so it's just a lot at the moment. Alright, finished round 8. We're going to replace the stitch marker under the last stitch we made, and then we're going to move on to round 9. So for round 9 is like similar to round 7. We have a long list of instructions that we have to complete, but this time, you guys, we are introducing the decreasing stitch. So I'm going to go and show you how to decreasing stitch 3 times, step by step. So you'll be able to learn that. And that would probably be the gist of this type of kit. They only use a few type of stitches, so it's not a lot you have to learn. But yeah, so again, we're going to break this down by comma sections. And the first section is just doing single crochet stitches. So let's do that now. Alright. Okay, next section we're going to deal with brackets, and inside are the decreasing stitches. So let me teach you how to do that. So the complete opposite of an increasing stitch, a decreasing stitch takes 2 stitches and turn them into 1. So what we're going to do is stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop so you have 2 loops. Then stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop so that we have 3 loops. And then we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 loops. So again, we pretty much just took 2 stitches here and we turned it into 1. So let's do this again, you guys. Stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop so you have 2 loops. Into the next stitch, put in your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop so we have 3 loops, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. 2 stitches into 1. Alright, one more time with you guys. Stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop so you have 2 loops. Into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop so you have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Alright, so I'm just going to do the rest of the decreasing stitches. You can repeat this part as many times as you need until you are confident to doing decreasing stitches on your own. All right, so after we've completed that section, the last section is doing single crochet stitches. So let's do that. Alright, I'm going to replace the stitch marker under the last stitch I made. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to do round 10. And this time we just have a bracket situation of alternating single crochet stitches and decreasing stitches, repeating it the number of times that the instruction tells you to. So let's do that now. Alright, remove the marker, put it under the last stitch we made. Now let's see what this paragraph of instruction tells us to do. So now we're putting in plastic eyes. Okay, I can do that. And I like these instructions. It tells you where to put them too. So I'm actually going to try to do the nose. Is there a way I can do the ears and the hair? I know that in the Grinch I waited. I guess I'll wait. I won't close it off though, because I like to do everything before stuffing, because you can hide all your knots in here, no problem. But let's do the eyes first. And I might do the nose actually. So let's take everything out. Maybe not the red. We don't need the red right now. Their yarn is very unique. It's got plushy, and this one is more like some sort of felt or cotton. I don't know. Anyway. Alright, so if you don't want to worry about this crochet hook being in your way, what I would do is pull this loop to be extra long. This is going to prevent you from losing that stitch, because it's going to take a minute to pull it all the way out if you accidentally pull it out. Okay, so we're putting the eyes in, and it tells you what rounds to put it in at. So, but first what you want to do is find your front. Now if you look at this all the way around, you notice that there's a little bulge here, and that's supposed to be the snout or the muzzle of the of Max. Okay, so we're going to find that center, and you can also check the box just to make sure, but let's count down these rows here. All right, and then we have to find our middle. then you can look at it and see for yourself if this is how you want them. Okay, and then you can slip the backing on it. So just flip this inside out, put the backing, make it cup that way. Just snap it closed, other eye. Okay, so now we have that. Now I actually want to do the nose. So let's do that real quick. We have the dark yarn here. And I'm just doing this now while the cavity is large and I don't have any problems putting in my fingers in there. You know, when we do the hair and the ears, we'll probably struggle a little bit because I'm going to do the rest of the body just so I can get my crochet hook back. There are many ways you can do it. Why is this so difficult for me right now? I cannot. All right, we have a bunch of this, so I'm going to try to just take a little bit. And hopefully there'll be enough for the ears later, and the legs and the arms. So let's thread this up. And we're going to skip really quick to the nose section. And it tells you where to put this and how big it should be. So we'll do that now. Oh, and it tells you where to put the eyes. Whoops. I didn't count the stitches. Hopefully you did. Okay. Whoopsie. All right. So we have the first one here. All right. It's not that much darker, but anyway, I'm going to leave a little length so I can tie later. But it tells you how many times they want you to put this in here, and the length as well. So let's do that. I guess I got more than I needed. Man, I wish this was darker. You can't really see it. I'm just going to puff this out, make the loops more even Steven. Okay, and then we're going to flip this inside out. And you want to tie it to secure it. You don't want to tie it too tight or else you're going to ruin those nice loops that you made for the nose. So just tie enough for it to be secure. And I'm gonna leave, I'm double knotting it, and I'm leaving everything in here. I'm gonna just tuck it in here. It'll contribute to my stuffing. But here we have the eyes and nose. Look how cute Max is looking so far. All right, and now we can get back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's put our hook back into the oversized loop. And then we're going to pull on the feeder yarn to tighten it up. And so now we are going to move on to round 11. So I'm going to gather up some yarn here. So now we're being introduced something else. This is abbreviated FLO. FLO means front loop only. So for this round only, we're going to be using the front loops only. So let me show you what that is. So I showed you what stitches look like and the loops and everything. So we're looking at our project dead on in the front. And let me show you what these loops are. So on that braid, we have 2 loops, one here, one here. If you're looking at it in the front like this, the loops on this side are front loops. The loops on this side are back loops. So FLO, we're going to be working only with the front loops. So when you stick your hook into these stitches, you're only going to grab the front loop. So if you have 2 loops after you stick this on there, that's not right. There's only one. Okay. So after it tells you front loop only, we have just a bracket situation. It's a little lengthy, so we'll take this by comma sections. So we're pretty much doing single crochet stitches, increasing stitches, back to single crochet stitches, and repeating it as many times as the instructions tell you to do. So let's do our first stitch here, which is the single crochet stitches. Okay. And then we're going to be doing the increasing stitches, back to single crochet stitches. Oh shoot, and I didn't do that front loop only. Oh, sorry. Let me just undo this real quick. If you ever mess up, you can always undo it. If you don't split the yarn or anything. All right, let me close up show you how to do front loop only. So I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet stitch front loop only. You want to stick your hook up this time through that stitch, but we're only going to pick up one. So here's the front loop only. The back loop is in the back. So you're going to do your single crochet stitch. Now let's do our increasing stitch. Put your hook through the front loop only. Back loop is chilling back there. Let's do our increasing stitch. All right. And then we're going to do single crochet stitches, front loop only. Stick your hook into the front loop only. Back loop is here. Do our single crochet stitch into the next stitch, front loop only. Back loop is right here. We're going to do our single crochet stitch. So if you look at it this way, there's this automatic bend. Whenever you do front loop, back loop only, it's always going to automatically bend towards the direction that you put the loop in. So if it's front, it's going to bend forward. If you did the back, it's going to bend back. But when you look at the back side, there's going to be kind of this light line of loops. Those are the ones that we didn't use. So anyway, I did that bracket. So now I'm just going to continue with it using the front loops only. All right, we're placing the stitch marker under the last stitch I made. So looking at the project now, you can see that line, and in the back you can see the line of loops we didn't use. But now we're going to do, this is going to represent round 12. We're going to do 13, 14, So we're pretty much going to do single crochet stitches. I'm going to do this in silence. Alright, I completed rounds 12 through 14, and now we're doing round 15. Round 15 is introducing transitioning of color and then back. So this is where it gets a little tricky, but I'm gonna walk through it step by step with you so that you can make a nice clean transition. It's a little crazy too because these two colors aren't too, they're dark brown isn't really that dark. It looks completely different from the photos, but we are gonna try to make it work. Okay, so we have to first start with our little comma sections here, and for the first one we're gonna do some single crochet stitches. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm gonna stop at the last single crochet stitch because I actually almost forgot. I want to show you how to transition to it. So do all the single crochet stitches except for the last one. If you already done it, just remove your crochet hook and gently pull back on the feeder yarn to pull out one stitch or how many stitches you might have, anyway. So I have one more to do, but right now I'm going to make this loop really big because I'm going to need my crochet hook. If you can get a second one the same size, that's best. But I'm just going to use the same one here. And then we're going to work with the brown. So this is going to be a hot mess. So be patient. We're going to cast on with the slip knot again. So take your ring, pinky, and thumb on one end, index and middle on the other. Hold the yarn apart. Then we're going to lie this perpendicular to the yarn, and we're going to go down, out, and around to create the loop. You can slide your yarn up and down, slide it down towards the thumb. Take your middle finger and hold it where it crosses so that you can let go of your left hand. Then we're going to collect some feeder yarn, repinch the end, and you're going to slide your hook further down towards your thumb, and where it crosses, just pinch with your middle finger so you can no longer slide up and down. We're going to yarn over, and you're going to pull this through the loop, and then I'm going to overhand my hook, repinch the end, and I'm going to push the knot towards the thumb, making that knot tighter. And once you get to a stopping point, then you can take your middle and thumb and pull out that excess piece, making that knot just a little tighter. And we're going to slide the knot towards the hook. You want to leave some space here because we're going to slip this off our hook. Set this aside for now. Pick up your project, put your hook back into that large loop, and pull on the feeder yarn to tighten up the loop. Okay. So now we're going to do the last single crochet stitch. So what you're going to do is stick your hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have two loops. Then you're going to take the feeder yarn and just hold it back with your ring finger, or just hold it back however comfortable it is for you. And then we're going to slip on the dark brown. Collect some feeder yarn. I'm going to pull this through both of those loops, and now we have a clean transition between the light brown and the dark brown, although they look similar in color, especially under this camera, so it's hard to tell. But I am going to keep this connected because we're going to use it later. This is called floating. We're going to float the colors back and forth to make whatever pattern they want you to do. So with the dark brown color, we're going to learn how to do the bobble stitch. Okay. So this is a new stitch that I will show you step by step, but this isn't typically in a lot of kits like these. So this is just an anomaly, but I'm still going to teach you this new stitch. We have a bobble stitch, double crochet stitches, and there's a number of them that we have to do. So let me show you. It's pretty much bunching double crochet stitches, and I'll show you how to do that. We're going to yarn over, Into your next stitch, put in your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over and you're going to put your hook into the loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now we're left with 3. So yarn over, let's gather up some yarn here. You're going to stick your hook into that same stitch again. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now we have 4 loops on our hook. We're just going to repeat this 2 more times. So yarn over, put your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now we have 5 loops on our hook. One more time, yarn over, put your hook into that same stitch. It's going to get a little difficult. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now you should have 6 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through all 6 loops. So just to help this out, because look, it's swelling, you're going to just push on the back and round out this bobble stitch. Okay. So now we have to switch to brown. Oh my gosh. What's done is done. I'm going to show you. I kind of made a mistake here, but we're just going to do it this way, and then I'll show you how to do it the right way at the next bobble. So now we're going to pick up the brown. We're going to put the dark brown. We're going to hold it with the ring finger. Hold it back. Now we're going to do, we're going back to single crochet stitches. Oh, this is a lot. This is not going to be fun. Okay, so put your hook into the next stitch. And we're going to be doing a single crochet stitch. Well, we're going to do a bunch of them, so go do that. Okay, once you do your first single crochet stitch with the regular brown, you can let go of the dark. And we're going to finish the rest of the single crochet stitches. Right before we finish the last single crochet stitch, again, we're going to hold the brown back. We're going to pick up that dark brown. And we're going to finish the last single crochet stitch on this section to make that seamless transition. Okay. So now with the dark brown color, we're going to be doing the bobble stitch again. So let's do that. Let me teach you how to do this again. Yarn over, put your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over, stick your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over, stick your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, stick your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay. Then yarn over, stick your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So at this point you should have 6 loops on your hook. And what I didn't do last time, which isn't the end of the world if you forget either. Now I'm going to set this dark brown aside. I'm going to pick up my brown and I'm going to complete the bobble stitch with the regular brown. So I make that transition back to regular brown. And then with this regular brown, we're going to do our single crochet stitches. Again, just keep holding back that dark brown until you do your first single crochet stitch here. Okay. Oh, and before you finish the last single crochet stitch in this section, we're just going to switch back to the brown. So complete this last single crochet stitch with the dark brown, and then we have to do another bobble stitch. This is a lot of bobble stitching here. So yarn over, put your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over, put your hook in the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, stick your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over, stick your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then we're going to do this one more time. Yarn over, stick your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and now you should have 6 loops on your hook. We're just going to take the dark brown, set it aside, and pick up the regular brown, and we're going to finish this bobble stitch. So yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. Okay, and then we're going to be doing our single crochet stitches. So into the next stitch, put in your hook and do your single crochet stitch. You can let go of the dark brown. We're going to finish our single crochet stitches except for the last one. Okay, so for the last one we're going to start the single crochet stitch, but then we're going to hold the regular brown back, pick up the dark brown, and then we're going to yarn over and finish this single crochet stitch. Okay, and then we have one more bobble stitch left to go. So yarn over, stick your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Oh, you know what? How many times we did this 3 times already. Whoops. So we did this 3 times, so just carry out the same instructions step by step how we were doing it for the other 3. Until you get to the last bit of loops, because we do have to transition back to regular brown. Okay, put this aside, pick up the regular brown. We're going to finish this bobble with the regular brown. And so now, you guys, we're not going to be using this dark brown anymore. So what we're going to do, make sure you cut the right color because this does look similar. We're going to cut about 1 inch or so on the dark colored brown. Right, then we're going to double knot this around the regular brown, and I'm going to double knot it, but not too tight because I don't want to mess up anything. I just want to make sure that this dark brown is secure to your project. You can keep the excess piece inside, and we're going to continue with the rest of this round, which is pretty much single crochet stitches. So let's do that now. Alright, so now that's completed, I'm going to remove the stitch marker and place it under the last stitch we made. Alright, so this hole is getting a little bit small. I think I'm remembering what I did for the Grinch, and we did actually attach his hair after the fact. So that's just what we're going to have to do with the hair and ears, because this is getting so small, or at least it will be getting smaller. I don't want you to struggle putting the stuffing. So it does tell you to put it after round 17. Is 8 stitches enough? Let me see what it says for the right ear. All right, yeah, let's just stuff it now. So take out your stuffing. It does tell you to do it after 17. If you have small hands, feel free to wait after 17. I'm just gonna at least stuff the head, because it's gonna be easier to have a little left to stuff than have to stuff the whole thing and the hole is smaller. But what you want to do is take little bits at a time. I'm going to pull this hook out. This is going to help you shape your project better by doing it in pieces. It helps you control the amount of stuffing that you put. We need to direct a bunch near the snout or the muzzle, so that's something to keep in mind. So I'm doing that now, actually. Look at that. Oh my gosh, so cute. Okay, I am going to hold off a little bit on the body because I can, like I said, it'd be easier. If this gets smaller, it's just filling it a little bit more at the bottom, so it shouldn't be too troublesome. If we had to fill this in with a small hole all the way down here and get the snout right, get the head right, it'd be a lot more difficult. So, all right, I'm going to put this back into my project here. Tighten up with the feeder yarn. Now the next stitches I do, you just want to be careful not to stitch into the fiber fill, because it'll come out and it'll look messy. All right, so let's do round 16. We have a bracket with a bit of stuff in here. We have some sectional pieces. We're gonna do single crochet stitches, decreasing stitches, and single crochet stitches. So it is going to get smaller. Let's do that now. right, I'm going to replace the marker under the last stitch we made. And then we're going to do round 17, which is pretty much decreasing stitches. So let me just get some yarn here. Now the trick to doing decreasing stitches as it gets smaller is to make sure that you keep the loops on your hook tight, because there's a tendency for this loop in particular to get loose or bigger, and it leaves gaps in your project, and you want to minimize that. And it's just going to naturally happen because it's starting to curl in this circle that we've got, so it's pulling, right? So you want to make sure that this loop here is as tight as possible. And one way to do that also is to flatten out this curve. So I'm pushing this to make this a flatter surface. Okay, remove the marker, and then we're going to fasten this off. So cut about an inch or so off this brown here. Oh no, don't. I cut it a little bit, but we'll see. I'm going to give myself a little space. I'm going to wrap around this circumference here 2 times before cutting it. I've got to sew it closed after I fasten off. So yarn over, pull through the loop all the way out. Okay. Then we're going to pull on this excess piece to tighten it up. I am going to take the moment here. I got a little bit more stuffing that I can put in. So I'm going to do that now. And again, trying to imagine if you were to try putting all that stuffing in this little hole. So it's good to do it in advance. But I just want to make sure that these, the legs and the arms are filled out here at the bottom. All right, so then I'm going to take my needle, thread up the yarn here, and I'm going to take the front loops all the way around and put the needle in at the front loops only. Okay, then we're going to pull this, and it's just going to tighten up that hole there. All right, like it never existed. So now you can take this moment to tie your knot. So I'm not sure how to do this right. I just stick this somewhere, make a loop, put my needle twice inside there, and then pull on it. Equivalent to a French knot if you are a sewer. Then I'm going to stick my needle in one end and then randomly anywhere out the other, because what I want to do is just trail this excess piece tucked into the project like that. And then you can go in and cut this piece flush, and then to hide that excess piece you just squeeze your project till that piece is gone. So we have our first parts of our max. Look how cute. Anyway, let's move on to the left ear. So let me see. I don't think for the ears we're going to need this color, so we can set this aside. And let's get the dark. Oops, I hit the camera. This is a bunch of stuffing we hadn't used, which is great. You can save it if you do another max. I like saving all the instructions and materials in case I want to make more than one. Because sometimes people ask for a lefty video and then I have to do a lefty video. But yeah, I recommend keeping, like I said, keep all the tools you get. You never know when you're going to use it again. All right, so let's find the end. Oh, gosh. Okay. Let's do the ear. Okay, so we are going to cast on using a slip knot. So take your ring, pinky, and thumb, and then your index in your middle. We're going to take our crochet hook and lie it perpendicular to the yarn. Go down, out, and around. You can slide your hook up and down. Slide it down towards your thumb. Take your middle finger and place it where it crosses so you can let go of your left. Gather up some feeder yarn. Re-pinch the end. Slide your hook closer to your thumb again, and then pinch right where it crosses so that you can no longer slide your hook up and down. We're going to yarn over and you'll pull this through the loop. Then overhand your hook. Re-pinch the end, and we're going to tighten up this knot, push it towards your thumb. And then once you've gotten to a point where you can't push it anymore, take your thumb and middle finger and just pull that excess piece to tighten up that knot just a little bit more. And then we're going to slide this knot towards the hook. Okay. Leave yourself a bit of room. But we're going to work on the left ear. Okay. So it tells you where to put this exactly. So I'm going to use my stitch markers because I can't keep track. I like blink and then I lose my spot. So let's count this. I'm going to put my stitch anywhere on this round so I know it's this round that I'm working on. Okay. I'm not going to close it yet, because now I have to find the number stitch that I'm using. So the instructions tell you what stitch we're using. You just have to find where the seam is. So you can kind of see where we've been putting our stitch markers and crawling up. So you get between that row and then you count your stitches. I wonder if you have to count it the same way. Let's see. I hate that it's in a spiral. But oh well, if that's the case, then Well, maybe this is the spot. You can also check the box too. I feel like it's one over. Let's move it one over. So yeah, use the box to help you out. But I'm just going to put this here to mark it. Right? Alright. So we just have to attach this. So what I'm going to do is stick my hook into this spot here that I marked, and we're going to yarn over and pull through the loop and pull through the other loop. Okay, so we have this here. You can remove the marker now. So now we're working with the instructions, and it tells you to do a bunch of chains. So let's do that now. Okay. So now we're actually going to do a new stitch. They got you doing all the stitches here. So what we're going to be doing is a triple crochet stitch or treble crochet stitch. And this is probably the tallest in length stitch that we're doing. So let me show you how to do that. Now, I told you when we do a single crochet stitch, we do the second chain from the hook, like we did in the very beginning, because that one chain counts as the height. Well, in this instruction, it's telling you the 5th chain from the hook, which is something I really didn't know. So the 5th chain from the, oh, I kind of did know. So the height of the treble clef stitch is going to be 4 chains, which is why we stick our hook into the 5th one. So this is how you do it. We're going to yarn over twice. Okay, so yarn over twice. We're going to count from the hook the 5th chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And like I told you, I'm going to use the back hump here. So stick your hook into the back hump. It might be a little difficult, but just try to find it and try to stick that in there. Okay. So now this is where the fun begins. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So now you have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. So now we have 2 loops left. We're going to do this one more time. Yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. So you see here we have the 4 chains. We have the treble crochet stitch. Alright, so the next section now we have brackets. So we're going to be doing treble crochet stitches, and we're going to repeat it the number of times that direction tells us to. So let's do this again. Yarn over twice. We're going to stick our hook into the next stitch, back hump. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So you can kind of see why it's called a treble crochet stitch, because we just did that 3 times. All right, repeating the bracket. Yarn over twice. We're going to find the next stitch and put our hook into the back hump. And that's, plushies are a little complicated because it's hard to see the stitches. But yeah, stick your hook into the back hump. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Okay, starting to look like an ear. So our next instruction has double crochets. Now we kind of did double crochets when we did the bobble stitch, but it's going to be slightly different now because we're not doing the bobble stitch, we're doing double crochets. So we're going to yarn over once, stick your hook into the next stitch, back loop only. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. So you can see how that's a double crochet because we just did that twice. So let's do another one, yarn over, into the next stitch, back loop only. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. All right, so now for our next comma section, we have actually a new stitch that we're going to introduce. This one is one of my favorites. It's called a half double crochet stitch. So what we're going to do is yarn over, you're going to put your hook into the next stitch, back hump only. Okay, again, it might be difficult, but try. All right, so we're going to yarn over and you're going to pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all 3 loops. All right, let's do this again. Yarn over, stick your hook into the next stitch, back loop only. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. All right. So now we're in our next section. We're going to do a single crochet stitch in the next stitch. So in the next stitch, back loop only, put in your hook. It's going to get very difficult now because it's tighter down here. Ooh, can't even see. Here's the next stitch, back hump only. All right, we're going to do our single crochet stitch. All right, so now what we have left to do is a slip stitch. And we're going to put it right next to where we attached it. So let's do that. If you can, kind of clean up all the excess pieces that we have here. We're going to do a slip stitch. So a slip stitch is pretty much just yarning over and pulling through all the loops off your hook. Okay. And then I'm going to fasten this off. Take about an inch or so. We're going to yarn over. You're going to pull through the loop and all the way out. Tighten it up tighten it up by pulling on your excess piece. What I'm going to do now is take our needle, thread it up. I'm going to stick one end randomly in one end and out the other, dragging that excess piece inside the body all the way out. You can cut this flush and then squeeze it till that piece disappears. Okay, so now we have the ear. Boop, boop, boop. Oh my gosh, I can't. Now, this would be the prettier side, but I guess this works. All right, now we got to do the right ear. So I've shown this. Let's do this one more time then. Ring finger, pinky, thumb, index and middle finger. Hold your yarn apart. Put your crochet hook perpendicular to the yarn. Go down, out, and around. So you make this loop around the crochet hook. You can slide this up and down. We're going to slide it towards the thumb. Take your middle finger, hold it where it crosses. Let go of your left hand so that you can get your feeder yarn. Repinch the end. Slide your hook closer to your thumb and pinch where it crosses so you can no longer slide your hook up and down. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through the loop. Overhand the hook, repinch the end, push that knot towards your left thumb until you can't push it anymore. Then take your middle finger and thumb and pull that excess piece out just a little bit more, and then pull your knot closer to your hook. Alright, so now let's attach this. So it's going to be in the same row, but we're going to count the stitches. So if this was wow, and I think that number can't be right. That's all the way around. So I'm going to look at the box. And I'm actually just going to count the number of stitches on the box that the ears are between. Okay, and I'm going to use that instead. So I just gotta, okay, we're gonna attach it on like we did before, just yarn over and pull through all the loops. Then we're gonna do our chain stitches. So all right. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're going to do our treble clef 5th chain from hook. 1, 2, 3. Just make sure 1, 2, 4, 5. Using the back loop only. Okay. Then we have our first bracket here, doing treble clefs. Or treble crochet. I'm sorry, I play music too, or I can read music, so my logo is pretty much a treble clef. That's why I'm saying treble clef. It's more triple crochet is what I'm trying to say here. Or treble. I think they call it triple or treble crochet. Ah, I lost my stitch. Okay. Then we have another bracket where we're doing double crochet. Okay, then we have another bracket doing half double crochet. Okay, and then we have a single crochet stitch. And then we have a slip stitch right next to where we attached the ear. Okay, and then we're going to do a fasten off, cut about 1 inch or so, yarn over, pull through the loop all the way out, and then tighten it up by pulling on that excess piece. We're going to thread up this needle and we're going to go into one end and randomly out the other. Drag that piece into the body, out the other end, and make sure it's not dimpling, so pull back on this if you have to. We're going to cut this flush, and then you just have to squeeze your project to hide that piece. Alright, so now we have the ears and it's fairly even, so kudos to that. Now what we're going to do is the hair. So for the hair we're going back to the brown. Let me put this dark brown away, pick up the regular brown. What I'm going to do is cast on with a slip knot, and I believe I did this 3 times already, so I'm just going to do this real quick. As you do a lot of these, you'll end up getting more efficient with your casting on. Oops, I probably made that too. Uh-oh, it might come undone, actually. We'll find out. Okay. Gather up some yarn here. This is where it's getting more tangled. We are almost at the finish line, you guys. We just have to do the hair and the scarf, I guess. Alright, so for the hair, we have to turn the dog facing left. Okay, face your dog left. We have to start at the top of the center. Okay. It doesn't really say where we're coming out of. Let me see. Check the box. Yeah, I don't know. So we're just gonna go through here, I guess. Some random spot. Okay. We gotta attach this on here, so yarn over and pull through all the loops. Then we're gonna start our chains, so do your chains. Okay. Then we're gonna do a slip stitch in the second chain from hook, so count them from the hook. 1, 2, back loop only, stick your hook in, yarn over and pull through all loops off your hook. That's a slip stitch. And then we're going to do a next slip stitch in the next chain. So back loop only, and this is going to get real hard to see. Try your best. Yarn over, pull through all loops off your hook. Alright, so that's for the first one. Now for the second round, we are chaining. We're making more chains, so do that. Alright. And then we're going to do a slip stitch at the second chain from hook, so count again. I'm going to use the back loop only and do your slip stitch. Alright. And then we're going to do a set of brackets. So in the next stitch, put in your hook, back loop only, slip stitch. Alright, and then you have to repeat your brackets. And then we're doing one more slip stitch into that same stitch that we just used. And then we have to attach this to the head. So I'm just going to go back into the center, and then I'm going to go into a random spot right there around that round. And we're going to do a slip stitch and then fasten off. So grab your scissor, cut about 1 inch or so. Yarn over, pull through the loop all the way out, pull the excess to tighten up that loop there. We're going to grab our needle, thread it up, stick our needle into a random spot, then come out the other end at a random spot. Okay, make sure it's secure, but it's not dimpling, like pulling on your head. And then we're gonna cut this flush to the surface, and then you can squeeze it closed to hide that piece. But look, oh my gosh, I cannot. Okay. What next? Because it seems like, oh, okay, we have to flip it to the other side. Oh, there's a tail. I guess we are using the dark brown. That's sneaky sneak. Okay, so let's take the dark brown again. Alright. You have to have Max face its back to you. Oh my gosh, looking at this, the legs are the legs and the face are off. It's like he's twisted. It's like he's looking out yonder. How did that happen? I followed the instructions. Maybe I didn't round it in the right spot. Oh, I got Max looking this way. So We're still gonna use the middle to put his tail on. Oh my goodness. Comment below, let me know if you did the same thing. Maybe it was my fault stuffing it and putting the eyes in the wrong spot. Who knows? But anyway. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna cast on with the slip knot. Man, that's not good. I can't believe I didn't notice that till now. That's terrible. Oh my goodness. Oh, whatever. Alright, and then we have to attach it. It says where to go, so we're gonna... 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going here. Alright, so let's attach this. I'm going to do a slip stitch, so yarn over and pull through all the loops. Okay. Then we have to do some chains. And then we're going to do a single crochet stitch, second chain from a hook, back loop only. And then we're going to do another single crochet stitch into the next stitch, back loop only. And then we're going to do a slip stitch. Now the thing is, this is on the dead center. It's going to look off. I wonder if there's a way. So if I put it in this one, it's going to look off center. Right now it's like perfect. If I flip it, it's going to be off center. No, I think it'll be fine. I just flipped it because it says to put it in the next stitch over, but if I put it next over here, it's going to be close to this leg. If I flip it the other way and I stick it on the stitch this side, I think we'll still keep it center. So I'm going to do a slip stitch this way. It's twisted, but it's a tail, you know, it's not that big of a deal. But do your slip stitch. And what? Repeat the process to secure the tail. I don't know. Anyway, cut about 1 inch or so. Yarn over, pull through the loop all the way out. Tighten it up by pulling on the excess piece. Then we're going to thread up the needle. Stick your needle in one end and out randomly on the other. And then cut this off. Squeeze your project here. I cannot believe this is off center. This is pretty bad. He is legit like facing the wrong direction. He's looking out that way. Oh man, whatever. Okay, with the red yarn we have to chain 24. Okay. I just cannot believe how messed up I made this. This is probably a fail. Alright, so we've got to do this. Maybe I can tie the knot, tie the scarf to make it look like it's, you know, he is looking out yonder. I just cannot with this right now. Alright. Yarn over, cast on with the slip knot. That is terrible. Oh my god. Okay, so we pretty much need to do these chains. Okay. Alright, after you do your chains, we have to attach to the first stitch. Oh, we have to attach to the first chain of the hook. So let's put this around the neck. And then back loop only, I'm going to attach to the first chain. We're going to do a slip stitch. And then we're going to fasten off. So cut about an inch or so. We're going to yarn over and pull through the loop all the way out. Tighten up that loop, and then you can, you know, try to weave in and out. Let's use the needle. Thread up the needle, and I'm going to weave it in and out of the collar. I cannot believe how crooked he is. It's really bad. It's so bad. Well, maybe he's posing for an Instagram photo. Okay. Alright, you guys, this is the end result here. We're just gonna have him looking in the opposite direction. If it really is that bothersome to me, I can undo the bottom and rework it, but I followed the instructions. I think what happened was when I filled it, I kind of filled it not looking at the feet. I definitely didn't look at the feet, so I should have looked at the feet, and then maybe the snout would have been more centered this way, and then the eyes should have moved. But he's just gonna be looking out there. Terrible. Alright, well, comment below, let me know how it went. I cannot believe I did that. I'm just gonna keep all this. I had enough yarn this time, so that was amazing. I mean, I'm starting to like these kits. I really hated the Halloween ones. But anyway, alright. Let me know how it went. His feet are facing this way, head facing this way. What can you do? You know, it's Max. At any rate, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.